Welcome to another episode of the Holistic Sister Circle. Today we have Alyssa with us, and Alyssa is the owner and creator of Intentions of Light and the Light of Your Life movement. With over a decade of experience as a full-time artist, her current undertaking is titled the Veggie Godmother Project. Alyssa is dedicated to elevating the quality of life. She spends her free time traveling the world while advocating for healthy living. Using the power of light and love, her dreams manifest into reality, ultimately inspiring the world to believe this power is abundant within us all. Alyssa, I'm so excited to have you here today.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity and connecting with this amazing audience and group of yours.
Absolutely. This is so amazing because believe it or not, y'all, we met through Surviving Vegan Academy.
We did. I definitely discovered your page because I was like, wait, Aku is following and this one's following. And I was like, who's this? Let me see what's going on here. This is my vibe.
Yes. And if y'all don't remember this, I mean, I talk about it so much, but I was transformed through that program. And I remember I was talking to our outreach coordinator for the show, and she was like, "Yeah, like I found someone who I think would be a really great fit." And I'm looking at your page and I'm like, "Wait a second. Okay, this is pretty dope." And then I'm talking to you, I was like, "Wait, we were actually in the same program. This is so amazing." So I'm so grateful. Obviously, a friend of Arisha is a friend of mine. So
Yeah.
grateful to have you here too.
Thank you. Yeah, and it like you said, it definitely is transforming, life-changing. If you don't follow I Am Surviving Vegan and you want to learn more about like the vegan community, you don't have to be vegan to check her out. And I love Arisha personally because she really does try to educate and bring people to understand, like, hey, this can help you change your life, you know?
Absolutely. And then you being able to take those tools and those resources and do what works best for you and your family. So I'm so grateful. And one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about today is just the viral noise that we have going on right now. There's so many TikTok videos, and just I was listening I was watching a viral network video earlier today, and it just talked about the different types of fruit and veggies that are in the stores at this moment. I've come across it myself, not necessarily saying that they were literally rubber, but I've come across where I would go to a Sprouts or organic market and
Mhm.
notice that even Sprouts, some of the fruit would have mold on it. And
Mm,
I'm like, wait a second, I'm at Sprouts. This is an organic section. I'm looking at the fruit and it has mold.
mhm,
I'm a bit confused. And then I see these videos and they're like, oh, I went to Costco the other day and I'm literally biting and chewing on rubber.
mhm.
And what's so amazing to me about this is I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not either. And it's a little sad. So I personally, when I started this vegan journey, if that's what you want to call it, I don't even call myself vegan just because people hear the word vegan and they draw all these images and connotations that they don't even understand. All vegan means is absent of animal products. That's all it means. Like it's really simple. And they think it's some crazy like, religion or something. But I personally looked into the history of America because when you go to other countries, this is not a problem. They grow their food naturally. When you drive through their country, they still have farmland everywhere. And I don't know where you live, but I personally live in a city. I live on an island, if we're being more specific. I live in New York City, and it's just a bunch of islands that are connected by bridges. Okay. We don't really have that many farms out here, if any, and everything is brought over by trucks. Everything is manufactured. Some of it is not even manufactured in America. And the things that are, unfortunately, are not even natural. Most of it is lab grown. And then the things that are still grown on land, the land has been contaminated and polluted and abused for decades, and you see this in American history. If you look at, the Great Dust Bowl, the Great Depression, if you look at the 1950s, the industrial boom, right? When things started becoming commercialized, when the industrial revolution started and railroads were created and people could now deliver from Chicago all the way to New York on a train. Food has been a problem in America for hundreds and hundreds of years, and people don't realize that because we have such a misconstrued idea of food, since we have things that are grown in nature and then things that are manufactured in, fast food restaurants and process manufacturing places that create things we buy in places we call supermarkets. And a lot of these things are not real. We don't realize it, but we're made to believe that, yeah, they're fun. They make us feel good. It tastes good. It smells good. It looks pretty. But what is it doing to your body?
Mm-mm. This is a big topic, Alyssa.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I like what you're saying. There's so much rumbling through my head right now. I'm like, I don't even know where to start. But I will say this: we are in a day and age where people are awake.
Hmm.
They may not necessarily know how to heal themselves or how to ensure that their body is getting the proper nutrients, but they are aware that there's something wrong. They're aware that they don't feel their body doesn't feel the way that it should when it's really at its optimal health.
Right.
They also are aware that their body is talking to them.
Right.
It's telling them exactly what they should be eating, what they shouldn't be eating based on how, again, they feel in those experiences. So I would just love for you to share with us, what would you say to someone who's, again, living in this environment, just like you said, who doesn't necessarily have a farm where they can just grow their own food right now, or they are still living here in a state of, okay, not I'm not the only person eating this, but so are my children
Right.
and my husband or my spouse. And one of the things I wanted to share with this too is, and the reason why this is so important is because majority of the time, the women are in the household.
Right.
The women are doing the cooking. We're booking the appointments. We're going to the grocery store. And we are leading our family blind. We are not reading between the lines. We are not reading labels. We are not researching. And we're just putting anything and everything into our bodies. And it doesn't just stop with us,
Right.
because now you've brought in another generation. Now your children are eating what you've provided them. And then their children are going to eat what they've provided them from what you decided not to do. So I would, in this particular moment where we are today, obviously we can't change everything around us, but we can control what we do and how we do it. What would you say to someone who is just, again, in their late 20s, 30s, even 40s or 50s? They have a family and they're just trying to figure it out.
I would say be gracious with yourself and understand it's not a one night process. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to be easy. It's actually probably going to be the most bumpiest journey of your ride of your life, right? The most bumpiest journey and ride of your life. But you are going to come out winning on the other side. 100% if you commit to choosing health. That's all it really is. If you genuinely think about it, it's making a choice at every moment to want health, vitality, and longevity for yourself and for your children and for your entire family, really. Because, I watch my family personally. I watch some of my friends, and when I first went on this journey, they're like, girl, you crazy. I could never, how do you do it? I think you're extreme, but you look so skinny, and like all this, misunderstanding because they don't get it. They're not the ones choosing this. But I genuinely just wanted better for myself. Like I grew up the same way for 20 plus years, and I saw the deterioration of my mental health. I saw the pain that it led me to live, okay? And it really does stem from what you choose in every moment. If you're choosing, the quick option, if you're choosing the things that are easy, why do you think that you're going to have a happy life? Why do you think that, it's easy to be rich? It's easy to feel good. It is in a sense, but it starts with the simple choices. So having a simple decision of, you know what, I want better for myself. I want to be able to play with my grandkids. I want to be able to walk up the stairs and not get winded. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and not feel tired. I want to be able to touch my toes if I feel like it, bend down and tie my own sneakers, right? I want to lose weight. It starts with a choice in every moment. Every time you decide anything, you have to think of the bigger picture. Is this going to lead me to the person I want to become, right? So when you introduced me in the beginning, you said about my Veggie Godmother project. This is kind of what led me to thinking like this. I was like, you know what? I'm really sick and tired of where I am. Like, I really was dealing with a lot of mental health issues. I really was dealing with a lot of just craziness going on in my life. We would be here for days. I'm going to get it in a book one day. But I was like, I want to be the best person I can possibly be. And I had to make like this character for myself to like strive after. Because in my mind, this character is perfect. There's nothing wrong with her. She can make anything she wants happen. She's literally magical. And it was Veggie Godmother. And every single time I need to make a decision, every single time, I feel overwhelmed with life, I'm like, wait, I don't got to deal with nothing. She got this. She already knows how to take care of everything, right? Um, and then another thing is understanding that you're not the only one alive. There's billions of people in the world, and there's hundreds of thousands of people who are also wanting the same thing as you, right? They want better for their families, they want health. Therefore, they're out here doing the work. You have some kind of guidance out there if you start asking the right questions. And I feel like that is another thing people probably aren't doing in this current moment. They don't ask questions. They just do what is comfortable. They do what is easy. They do what they were told to do by their parents, by their loved ones, by people they trusted. And they don't really question because they've been told not to question. I said so. That's why. And when you begin to question, I was always the one who asked, but why? You really start to open your eyes and see, wait a minute, this doesn't even add up. Why would I continue to follow in your footsteps if you have diabetes, if you guys are getting cancer, if you guys are developing heart disease, if the country is ridden with obesity? Why am I going to follow what the mainstream person and the mainstream media is telling me what to do if we have all these problems? So when you stop, you ask questions, you find people who have the same questions and maybe even found answers to these questions. And you just listen. You're willing to learn something new and something different. And you're willing to be patient with yourself and have a vision for what you want for your family, for yourself, and for the future. This will become 1,000 times easier. You will be able to have the health and the vitality that is possible for you. Even if you think, oh, but I'm too old. Oh, but the doctor says I'm going to be on medication for the rest of my life. Or it's too difficult. My kids would never listen. Again, it takes a choice in every single moment to want better for yourself. And if you have the willpower, because you do have the willpower, and you exercise it effectively every day, the next thing you know it, you're going to be 100 pounds lighter. You're going to be running up and down the stairs without getting tired. Your kids are going to be never get sick. Like, your life, it will just be different. And you're going to be grateful that you even tried. Okay. That's what I would say to them.
Mm. And what you're saying too is just this is such a powerful topic. And I think the biggest thing here, just to reiterate of what you're saying as well, is we all have the power of choice. And what
Mhm.
we choose to do with our power, whether we give it away or we actually reclaim it for our own desires, needs, and interests, is up to us. And just like you were saying, I realized in this process of this journey, because it is a journey, and you are going to rub some shoulders the wrong way, ruffle some feathers. You're probably going to question why you even decided to do this. Your family will probably look at you different and be like, "Mommy, like you didn't do this before. Why are you doing it now?" You take the snacks away, they're probably going to have a tantrum, right? So
Mhm.
all of these things are happening, but they're happening for your good. And I'm grateful for our community because they know exactly what you're going through. This isn't
Mhm.
something that is second, this is second nature for us. Like we've gone through it. We understand. And this is a process that you're going to have to go through too if you actually want what's on the other side. Now, Alyssa, when you decided to really create this project of the Veggie Godmother, and it's kind of cool because it's like your persona. It's like
Mhm.
it's almost like your alter ego. I sidebar for a second. I a couple of months ago, I actually wanted to learn how to twerk. So I went to a pole dancing class and I started learning like how to move the hips. And a lot of it I did and I learned like through yoga as well. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of like child's pose and all these different things, right? Anyway, through that experience, the instructor told me that I needed to figure out who my alter ego was.
Mhm.
So while I'm here, I can't just show up as who I am because who I am is very uncomfortable, very awkward, a little very, very shy, like didn't really know. I'm like, oh, I think I'm doing this right. It's just like when you're here, I need you to bring out your alter ego. And I need you to really embrace this person as if you're not this person right now, but this is who you obviously are looking to become. And you technically have all of the gifts already inside of you. You're just a little bit nervous and shy to bring them out. So I would love to know what made you decide to create a persona or an alter ego, and how has this really helped navigate and shape the lifestyle that you currently have?
Honestly, I met my boyfriend by accident, and we were both in Miami. We weren't dating at this time, but I never had a nickname in my life, right? And we met up in Miami, and then from that day, like, meeting, we drove back up to New York together, and we were just dating ever since. And his dad made a joke.
Wait,
Yeah.
you didn't know him.
I
You just
knew
got
him from New York, but we only dated maybe, like, 3 or 4 times, and then we ended up in Miami at the same time.
okay, I
So,
got you.
technically, I really didn't know the guy. Like, I met him for a few hours a couple of times, and that was what I knew about him. And his dad was like, "Oh, your little vegetable," because I was already, on my vegan journey at this time. And then he was like, "Oh, my little veggie." And once he called me veggie, he said later on, "I just didn't remember your name." And it stuck. I was veggie from then on. And at first it was just like a little nickname, but then I was just sick and tired of being Alyssa. Because what I wanted to touch on too, while you were talking about, you attending this class and you're awkward, you're uncomfortable. We all tell ourselves stories about ourselves that we memorized from the moment we could speak, from the moment we can understand language. People are telling us stories about ourselves every single day. Oh, you're too annoying. You're too pretty. You're too this. Everyone is telling us, what they perceive about us. And sometimes, depending on who's saying it, if it's someone you love and trust, you adopt that and you make it your truth. So now you become an older person and you've been stuck in this habit, repeating the story to yourself your whole life. Like, oh, I'm really smart, but at the same time, I'm always shy. Like, I don't like talking to other people. So, of course, whatever you believe, whatever you think, you're right. You have made it your truth. And at that point, I was sick and tired of Alyssa being my truth, feeling anxiety, being too skinny, being too outspoken and always having to do things my own way, right? This is the story other people were telling me. I was like, you know what? I want to be rich. I want to have long, beautiful hair. I want to be famous. I want to be a model. I want to be able to help people. Like I had all these dreams and passions within me, but Alyssa couldn't accomplish it. Alyssa was not the right person to do it. Alyssa didn't have what that person could possibly be needed to be that person. So I was like, you know what? I made a vision board. I actually have it next to me. I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, let me see it.
It's a little big, but I drew this picture because I'm an artist at heart, right? And I drew this picture of a fairy and I was like, these are all the things that I want to accomplish. This is like my tree of accomplishments. And I put all the places I wanted to go, all the things I wanted to do. And I was like, Veggie Godmother is going to guide me to complete all of this whenever I'm ready, you know, whenever I accept her guidance as, you know, just anytime I feel like Alyssa is not ready, Veggie Godmother is ready and she got this. Like, I don't have to worry about nothing anymore because, you know, and you could even look at this if you're religious. You could look at this as God. If you're not religious and you're an atheist, you could look at this as the universe, you know, at whatever your higher, you know, being, whatever you want to put a title to it, that we have access to that. We all do. You know, it is real, whether or not you want to admit it. And the moment you figure that out, that you don't have to do things on your own, and that we can help each other, and that everyone has, you know, a greater source of power that available to them at all times, you kind of let go of fear and worry, and you're just like, you know what, it's gonna happen when it's right for me and when I need it, and I'm okay with that.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Like and I could totally relate to this because a couple of years ago, I did feel like I was just completely capped. I was like, and not capped when I'm saying capped, I don't mean financially. When I say capped, I mean literally in every area of my life because I wasn't giving the type of energy that I needed to give in those seasons
Mhm.
what I was expecting to come into fruition at that time, it didn't. And when I look back on it now, years later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I understand why. Because I wasn't putting myself in a position where I was speaking kindness to myself, where I was self aware. I'm very self aware. And you'll learn as you go on this journey. This is a spiritual journey. This is
Mhm.
not you just eating the right foods or
Mhm.
you just going to the grocery store and there's rubber food. Like we are in a war. And I don't think people really understand this. Like we did not come onto earth just to be a part of earth. Like that's not why we're here. We're here to make change. We're here to make impact. We were all provided some type of gift and tools and resources to get our people out of the gutter, get them out of the mindset of I'm just going to walk around and be blind to everything. Like you need the knowledge, you need the education so you know the type of decisions that you should be making throughout your course of life. And anyway, my whole point of this, I'm saying this is because when I fast forward years later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I went through that irritable bowel syndrome journey to end up here. I
Mhm.
went through being isolated and feeling awkward about dating and really like ousted by my family and parents and things of that nature at that time with the things that I was doing, because that was actually helping me build my confidence for right now.
Mhm.
When I think about where I was back then, it was like all of these layers. I had layers of, that's too hard, or layers of you need to go back to work and get a full-time job, and like all of these layers of things that just
You
weren't
realize
serving
they're
me.
not yours.
They were never mine.
Nope.
They were never mine. And when
Someone was just like, "Hold this,"
yes,
and you're like, "Okay."
and I'm holding on to it for dear life.
Yep.
And it's literally killing me inside to the point where my body was physically aching. And I
Mm.
said, I have to speak. Like there's no way around it. I have to talk. And that has really led, like, this podcast is a healing journey for me. This isn't something I'm just want to talk to experts all day. Like this literally helps me get over my own traumas and my own battles and my own fear of whatever I had from other people. And when I see, I have these vibe checks and everything with people too, and all we are exchanges of energy.
Mhm.
So it's like, if I'm not serving you in a way that's actually going to help you prosper, why are you on here? If
Mhm.
you're not serving me and giving me back that energy that I know is going to help me thrive, why am I doing this?
Even those of you listening right now, you getting all the love and light from this conversation, honestly.
Yes. And I think about this so much because I'm just like, even, this conversation with you, and you're like, you've always been a ball of light. You've always been super energetic, super positive. Literally, like, honestly, I feel like you've been here before. Just your mind frame and what you know and how you move through society. And Alyssa is young, y'all. Like, I don't think y'all realize how young Alyssa is. And she just comes out with a bold and confident. Like, that's what we need our women to be
Thank
in
you.
this season that we're in. And
It's
I'm
funny, my
grateful for
birthday's
that.
in, like, 3 days. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
How old are you turning?
25.
Oh my gosh. But you see, like, age is nothing but a number. Because if
Mm-mm.
your mind is still stuck at 12, if your mind is still stuck at, 20, you're
Yep.
not getting your mind, your body, your spirit, they're not getting the proper nutrients that they need in order to move you and elevate you to a higher vibration.
And people
So,
always talk about, like, child therapy, like, healing their inner child, and it's like, yeah, you are stuck at whatever moment was the most painful for you, you are stuck at that age. Whether or not you believe it and you realize it, your body is leaving you, like, and you gotta catch up, you know? But
so, let's share a little bit about, okay, so we have our persona, because
mhm.
I love this. I love how you broke that down and you're like, okay, this is who's guiding me. All right, so you have the Veggie Godmother. What has the Veggie Godmother taught you in this season?
Mm.
And what are you looking to accomplish with the Veggie Godmother within the next 6 months?
She's taught me a lot, honestly. Like, she's taught me to be gracious, not just with myself, but with other people. It's so funny too that you commented on, how I'm a ball of light and I'm always so energetic because before I was always so angry and I hated people. And what I realized when I created Veggie Godmother, it had nothing to do with me hating people and with me hating myself because I wasn't being who I was supposed to be, and that was me taking on, all the stories I was being told by all the different people I was dealing with as a kid. And she's taught me to be forgiving and not hold those feelings against people, to be, openly loving, even though I personally have always been good at just loving others unconditionally. But I can't truly love others unconditionally when I don't truly love myself that way. So it's been a really big, like, healing process of like we gotta genuinely be loving, even loving people that I don't even know, even telling people, even if it's in my head, like just looking at a person and being like, I love you. Even if I never say it out loud, just that feeling of being able to say I love you to a stranger is like really powerful if you think about what love is. And even the people that hurt me, the people that are close to me, and I tell them I love them every day, even when they get me so angry and I'm like, I hate you. I have to be gracious and I have to be patient and kind because we're all trying our best. We're all doing our best. And within the next 6 months, honestly, since like I said, it's my birthday coming up, I have a lot of big, 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 big plans, if I'm being very honest. I started modeling again and it's been really great. Like, I've had so much fun. I've been modeling for the past 2 years, but I'm becoming more consistent in terms of, like, applying to agencies and getting representation. And this is a big deal because I've always wanted to do acting. And I was never confident in modeling because I was too chubby and I was not the right height. And, I had breakouts and acne and all this stuff. But now with Veggie Godmother, I'm so confident. I'm so in love with myself that I'm like, no, I know that this transformation I went through can help the next person and it can really show them what's possible, especially knowing my background and knowing where I've come from and being able to share my story. Like, thank you so much for this opportunity once again. Like, you can really come from any kind of situation and create a completely new world for yourself. Like, it really is possible if you want to. So being able to share that with the world and inspire other people to make changes for themselves is a really big deal for me because it just makes me feel good knowing that I'm helping others. And it's not just about my ego or that I think I'm pretty and all this stuff. And also, finally, really truly starting my own podcast. Yes, I know I did podcast school with you, and I have my virtual assistant working on my website. So that way, when I upload episodes, it's just an easy process. The name of it is Favorite Self because Veggie Godmother is my version of my favorite self. And just, sharing this light and love with people and helping them understand like how it really is possible to create a life that you want to live, right? People have dreams and goals, but they think they'll never accomplish them because they're always looking at their current circumstances. But once you stop focusing on what you don't want and look at what you do want, you get what you want, you know? So I'm very excited for all that's to come for sure.
I'm so excited for you. Oh,
Thank you.
you have to keep us posted on everything. This is amazing. I was listening to a podcast a couple of days ago, and it was one thing that stuck out to me on this particular show was they were talking about every second we change.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not even who we were 10 minutes ago. Like
Mm-mm.
just from this conversation, I've learned so much. I'm impacted in a new way, and I'm just going to show up differently in like 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was so powerful because I don't think we realize that when we truly think about it, we're not who we were yesterday. We have no idea who we'll be tomorrow, but all we really do have is our present moment while we're here right now. And what type of energy are you bringing to the table?
Yep.
Like, what is that? What are you bringing this sour energy that no one wants to be around? Or are you bringing this positive energy that actually attracts people to you and it's contagious and it attracts people to them and it's contagious? So I'm super proud. I'm excited for what you have and what's
Thank you.
coming.
I do have a little tip for that for anyone listening. Like if you feel that, it's really hard for you to change how you feel, start with what you're doing, what you're focusing on. If you're focusing on something you don't even like, stop doing it. What are you really doing it for, right? Do something that makes you feel good. That's why, we advocate so much for eating healthy because once your body feels good, it's so much easier to feel good on a consistent basis. And you know, do things that you love. Go for a walk, play with your kids, paint, draw, whatever. Do something that makes you feel good so it's easier to feel good all the time and you will get whatever it is that you want.
Absolutely. And I want to add to that too. You also become more self aware because if
Mhm.
you're already in the natural state of doing the things that are making you feel good, it doesn't just show up with eating. It shows
Mm-mm.
up with your relationships. It shows up with your emotional intelligence and how you hold space for other people. It shows up of are you holding boundaries? Are you setting boundaries with others? Because when your emotions are all over the place and you're eating whatever you think you need to eat and it's not working out in the way that you want to, you have no boundaries. You don't even have boundaries with yourself. And then you get into these jobs or you start a business and you wonder why the business is working you like you with your full-time job because you haven't actually mastered self-awareness and
Yep.
then taking what you've learned through those self-awareness practices and applying it to every single area so all of it has a system that's dedicated to serving you in a way where you can serve others in your best way.
Amen, sister. 'Cause you can't do
Yes.
for other people if you can't even do for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Alyssa, this has been amazing. I wish I could talk to you all night, but I'm going to get in trouble because we went over our 25 minutes. So
I noticed, but I loved it. It's okay. I'm sure it's gonna
we're
be
gonna be
worth
like,
it.
excuse me. Uh, so how can our people reach out to you? How can they connect with you further? Let us
Yeah,
know.
I personally I just grew up an Instagram person, so like I have all the other social media apps, but I'm not active on them. So if you if you genuinely want to connect with me, you will definitely find me on Instagram. You could follow me at Veggie Godmother or at Intentions of Light. Veggie Godmother is more of my personal page where I post my modeling journey, and Intentions of Light is where I'll be sharing more about my podcast, the Favorite Self podcast. And if you ever want to ask questions, about healthy eating or even about, mindset, like I'm really big on mindset because that's how you make your choices. Um, Definitely reach out, have a whole bunch of resources that are, most of them are free too, that you can benefit from if you're interested. So that's Veggie Godmother or Intentions of Light.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time and
Of
happy
course.
birthday.
Thank you.
Queen, thank you so much for tuning in. It truly warms our heart that you're taking the time out of your day to connect with us. If you'd like to connect with our guests further, you can find their information located in the description section of this episode. And if you found this episode helpful, share with another queen. And don't forget to connect with the Holistic Sister Circle on Instagram and Facebook. And until next week, stay blessed. Mwah.